Yeah, so essentially we've just come out with the wrong name. We said that we were going to call ourselves in this episode as Hold My Popcorn, and we were super excited about it, and we spent about 20 minutes talking about it, but we kind of screwed up. We can't use that name because somebody else already owns it.
Yeah, and like
So
you leave it to me in the episode to be like, so this is why we called it Hold My Popcorn, being all like, oh, look at my big brain, when really it was just pure hubris. We didn't
we just
even
got too
check
excited.
once. We didn't check at all whether the name was taken. We were just like, yeah, that sounds fun. But no.
We just had eaten too much popcorn and we had popcorn brain, and that's a real thing.
Yes, that's
we
a real
were
thing.
high off of our own power and popcorn.
Yeah. So enjoy the rest of the episode that we did record under the guise of calling ourselves Hold My Popcorn, but we were no longer Hold My Popcorn. We are 8-Bit Popcorn.
Which is so much better.
Yeah, those guys that are actually called Hold My Popcorn can go jump off a cliff. They say it's a shitty name.
We hate it now, so.
Yeah, it sucks. So enjoy the rest of the show.
Bye.
Thanks, I hate it. Bye. I was so excited for you to say that, Joe. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast with me, Sarah. Hi. Brian.
Hello. How's it going?
And Joe.
Howdy. What's up?
This week we're looking at film anniversaries, which will lead us on to a discussion about franchises and remakes. And we'll be looking at what films have made a resurgence on streaming services and why we think that is. But first up, we have some really exciting news. We finally have a name.
It just took 5 episodes.
Decisive we are
Is
not.
that 5 consecutive weeks, or is that longer? Probably longer, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Probably longer because we had all those kind of pre-game.
You're more like 6 or 7 weeks, probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in total, yeah. That's a hard thing to come up with a name, though, and it's got to be right, and it's got to, convey what we're chatting about and all of those things. So
we're really deep thinkers, and we really, really put a lot of thought into this. So please like it.
Yeah, we're just
well, you have to how many times when you're looking at it as a YouTube channel, and I mean the content of what you're looking to watch is probably in the video, but it's because of what the channel's called, or the introductory graphics or something, of the design of it, and you think, nah, it looks like crap. I don't want to. We're visual creatures.
Yeah.
They might. I mean, you shouldn't just judge. We are basically just judging a cover. But then people will do the same with us. So we have to make sure we got it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Although that being said, we like it, but I mean, people can still listen to it or see the name of the logo and think that's rubbish, and then we can just blame Joe.
I can't handle the criticism. Oh my god.
So who wants to say what we're called?
I think Joe should.
Okay, yes, Joe, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, the name that we settled on was Hold My Popcorn. So,
whoop, whoop.
Like it, please. It's a reference to a meme. Have fun with that.
Mm-hmm. It's a current topical meme.
Is that a reference to a meme? I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, it's that whole thing of, I don't know, somebody tries to one up somebody else. They're like, yo, hold my beer. I'm gonna go do some shit.
I kind of thought the whole hold my beer thing, hold my popcorn. I thought that was just I've never actually heard of that as a term before.
And
so that's
thinking real deeply about it, it's like whenever we have our back and forths and we're like, here's my opinion, hold my beer or hold my popcorn, because we're PG.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're Disney. 9/11. I just have to shoehorn that into every single episode.
Socioeconomic 9/11. Elf wouldn't be
9/11.
Elf wouldn't be anything without
the cut. Yes, we had put in but there was loads of ideas. We had loads of ideas. Zara had a great idea of actually using movie quotes, which I actually loved. Which we actually didn't end up using, but you had so many great ideas. Joe, you had great ideas, even well, I like to think I had some great ideas.
You had some ideas.
That it was something that we all were happy with. Initially we had Where's My Popcorn? And then Joe just came in with the Hold My Popcorn, and I was like, there it is.
I changed one word, and there we go.
Yeah,
that's that.
Yeah,
and it was magic.
And then we published it. Online
we went with it. We had a few focus groups. We had a few, we asked some friends and some colleagues, and got their feedback, which was
fun. Was pretty resounding. Yeah.
It was, yeah. And the thing with the movie quotes, that was a really cool idea, but there were so many, and it was like, how do we pick one that kind of describes what we are about? And it was just a bit too difficult.
Well, there's nothing more I enjoy than going to the cinema and sitting down, and it's always a bag of popcorn or a box of popcorn, whatever way it comes to you.
So true.
And for me, I actually end up choosing the theater based on popcorn. If your popcorn's rubbish, I'm not interested. And if you're sitting actually in the theater and you get bad popcorn, that's half my
if you get the
ruined.
popcorn that kind of tastes like, I don't know, sawdust or something.
It's been sitting there for a week.
When do you start to eat your popcorn?
Right away.
Ooh.
As soon as the bum's in the seat.
No.
Oh, you're one of these ones that wait for the movie.
I wait until like, the whole age thing comes up, and then you're like,
no, I'm right away. I usually have about half of my bag of popcorn before the movie starts, and then I'm like, no, I need to leave some here for the movie, and then I'll have the next half eaten within about 15 minutes.
That's an exercise in self-control for me.
You try to do it before?
Oh, sorry, no, I was saying I try to do courses. So I'll have like my popcorn, and that's for the main film. And then maybe towards the end, when it's done, I have like my bag of sweets, and then I maybe have some like chocolates on like the way out. I have to have like
you go all out.
Yeah, no, I get everything. Sometimes nachos, can't do that every time though, because I wouldn't be the size of a
I couldn't do nachos. Nachos, nuts, anything almost like dinner related. I don't know. It just seems a bit odd. I always think that was odd. Apparently, I'm a very loud. You can actually judge this because we're supposed to be going to see Home Alone at the local QFT cinema, and apparently I am very noisy with my popcorn. I don't think so.
Really?
But apparently I'm a really noisy eater. It's not so much the chewing, it's the fingers in the bag of popcorn.
Rooting around for the bits. Oh, okay.
The big bits. I like grabbing big bits, and because I have a big mouth, I put loads in.
Yeah,
apparently I'm very noisy with my fingers.
Do you guys take a handful out of the actual bag, hold it, and eat from that, or do you just keep
it on my lap,
like a chipmunk or something, like an animal,
like a little like
a wee
beaver
squirrel,
or something?
a wee beaver? Yes.
I'm like the opposite.
How do you eat popcorn, Joe?
Silently,
Silently.
real quiet. Like if it's a very quiet film, it'll be like sucking on that popcorn rather than like.
There's nothing worse. Yeah, there's nothing worse than eating or watching a quiet movie. I went to see a quiet place, and I specifically and people are sitting there opening their bags, and you're like, you asshole, shh. But on the theme
just
of
like the eponymous movie, this is a quiet place, you fucking Philistine.
Exactly, stand up and tell him. But on the theme of popcorn, I actually asked you guys any quite get popcorn. Now, before you reveal what kind of popcorn you have, I thought it'd be quite fun to actually maybe have a quick discussion on what kind of popcorn buyer you think each of us are. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can start with Joe. Like, I got the impression that maybe Joe's the type of guy that likes sweet and salty popcorn. What about you, Sarah?
That's interesting. I'm not sure. I feel like with Joe, my gut instinct there was salted popcorn.
That was my gut instinct. Then I thought Joe likes to kind of, I don't know,
mix it up.
Go with your guts, guys, because I'm a salty ass person.
Okay. Well, Zara, I kind of went salty for you.
Really?
I would have actually went mixed for
hearing all the
Zara.
sweet talk, now I'm thinking sweet. Or maybe even toffee popcorn.
You see, because there's different. Yeah, there's like a marshmallow popcorn as well. That was really good. I went with a mixture of sweet and salted because that's usually what I do when I'm in the cinema. I usually like to get a mixture. Yeah. It would be either sweet or mixed. I don't think I ever really just get salty because I get too thirsty and it's too,
Cool.
What about you, Ryan?
What do you think?
I think sweet or some other flavor like toffee or like even something kind of weird because there's salt and vinegar popcorn out there at the minute.
Is there? I've never had that actually. No.
Well,
I'm thinking like some kind of artisanal like deli type special popcorn. I'm not sure.
No,
I feel like I feel like the sweet flavors.
Sweet,
like
sweet. Always sweet. And then we all went out and bought popcorn for this very occasion. So I have my popcorn here. Which I'm sure listeners are going to hate that. There's nothing worse than somebody chewing in your ear.
ASMR like eating sounds things. People are like,
I have like a dedicated bowl. I have
mine's
to still
really
have to pour.
Mine's quite,
I have a bowl. I've got a bowl.
Here we go.
I
Or
always
for the
thought
poor.
I could not be eating popcorn. I know. My dog's hearing me chewing on
No,
popcorn. But she wants some. So we should probably start.
Yeah.
We probably should. No, I'm just in a popcorn eating phase. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on. Alrighty. So, should we start with that article about the idea of the Spider-Verse and the possibility of Tobey MaGuire and Andrew Garfield?
Of Tobey MaGuire?
Tobey
Like you said,
MaGuire.
Tobey? Yeah.
Tom McGuire.
You know him.
Yep. OG
We
Spider-Man.
told-
Girl, you know Tommy.
He my homie Tommy. What do we think of that? Because so I've seen in the article
Well, these
that
are just rumors.
Jamie Foxx. These are just rumors. Well, is Jamie Foxx a rumor? Because I feel like he's been confirmed as Electro.
He had put out a tweet and he was made delete the tweet. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Then he was really excited to be a part of it.
So that's
So I
almost
would
a
imagine that's
confirmation.
real. Yep, I think so.
That could be a real one. And then everyone's talking about Alfred Molina being rumored to come back to reprise Dr. Ock. So
I
that
heard
would
that,
be really
yeah,
cool.
which I love. He was my favorite villain out of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man franchise. I thought he was brilliant.
That was bad.
So, but I think they're trying to bring a villain from each, I don't know, Spider-Verse, multiverse. But if you think about where Endgame left off with the Marvel universe, with Doctor Strange, and they're saying that because obviously, spoiler alert, Iron Man's dead, that Doctor Strange then may take up the mantle of being Tom Holland's new mentor. And so with his powers, then he's able to kind of, I don't know, create some sort of kind of rip in time or multiverse or something, or maybe it's a villain, I don't know, but it creates the opportunity there for the multiple kind of Spider-Mans.
Yeah, and didn't it say that Sam Raimi was the one that was directing the next Doctor Strange?
I'm not actually
So,
sure.
he directed the first 3 Spider-Man films. So, crossover.
Interesting. Well, Tobey Maguire has apparently not asked for more money, but just more. He just wants more time in the suit. He wants more screen time to actually act and perform. I think he felt like he was maybe web slinging too much around the actual city, and he wanted to kind of deliver more of his acting capabilities, which I would like to see. But I think, like this is Sony produced. I think, isn't it? Like Sony have come out and basically confirmed this, which I thought was interesting to me. So I'm not sure if it's like a Sony Marvel.
Well, Into the Spider-Verse was Sony and Columbia, but then it said in association with Marvel. So
Well, there you go.
Unless it's the same kind of idea.
They've obviously forgiven Andrew Garfield for being an ass.
Was Andrew Garfield an
No,
ass?
he was fired allegedly from Spider-Man. That's why they changed it to Tom Holland, you see.
Oh, so they weren't originally going to go with a new Spider-Man
I can't speak to that, but Andrew Garfield was at some event. He was meant to appear at some event with Sony Chief was announcing as well the possibility of Spider-Man 3, even though that Spider-Man 2 had kind of like a lukewarm reception in the box office. But Andrew Garfield didn't show up. He said he was sick. It was all very last minute. They took offense to that, and allegedly that's why he lost his role as Spider-Man.
Well, Andrew Garfield really hated the studio.
To many people. Yeah, like there was very surprising to many people that, why are we changing from Andrew Garfield so quick within a couple of years to Tom Holland, which was weird. But I think I do remember reading up on that and just kind of doing a bit of research there on Google. You can find it very, very easily that he was apparently had pissed off the Sony heads and they just thought, well, fuck you.
Right.
Yeah, he did I can't remember who he was talking to, but it was like actor interview. And they were talking about like the big studio life, and he hated like the studio interference because they were constantly coming in with rewrites and let's just shove this villain in and let's do this scene, we don't have enough love scenes between these two, blah 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 blah. So he became really disillusioned with the whole franchise, and he was so up for playing Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man's one of his heroes, and he was at Comic-Con.
You're talking about Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Well, he had sent the director pictures of him as Spider-Man as a child, dressed up in Spider-Man outfit. And the director loved that. That's how I think he got his foot in the door.
I should do that. I could get the role.
Just you say that, you picture your pajamas, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I went to Comic-Con, so dressed as Spider-Man.
Well, does anybody have any particular favorite Spider-Man?
Ooh.
Andrew Garfield would be my least favorite.
Tom Holland would be my least favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. if I was like, to like just go out of the film, I mean, it kind of is a film. My favorite Spider-Man at the minute would be Spider-Man PS4. Anybody played it?
I played it. My brother owned it, and I took it. I mean, it was a good game. I mean, you can't go wrong with Spider-Man, I think.
No, but I love the story in it. I love the performance by Yuri Lowenthal. But if I was to go film, I would actually say that overall my favorite is Andrew Garfield.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's likable. I'm not saying I don't like him as an actor. I think he's done some fantastic films, but I did see him. It was on the Graham Norton show or something, and just the way he was acting, I thought, you're a pompous, arrogant shit, aren't you? And that was it for me. Right away, I just thought, you know what? I don't actually think I like you anymore, just because of how he kind of seemed to conduct himself.
Fair enough.
Which maybe is unfair, but
no, if that's your impression of him, then that's your impression of him. You can't really help that. He doesn't have my favorite Spider-Man movies. I mean, my favorite Spider-Man movies would be Spider-Man 1 and 2, but then Spider-Verse actually probably supplants them. But if we're talking about live action,
Spider-Verse. I've heard fantastic things about. I've heard fantastic things about it. I just haven't seen it. That's all about Miles Morales, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, I think probably my familiarity is mostly with Tobey MaGuire and those films. Yeah, and I actually really like.
I know.
We Tobes.
I know, right? We Holmes. I really like the third one. Please don't kick me out of the podcast.
No.
As a comedy, yes.
How bad it is.
Yes, as a comedy, something we can all laugh at.
Emo fringe, and I thought it was so weird and funny, and I really gravitated towards it only because it was slightly bad but good.
Have you seen the fan re-edits of that scene where he's coming out and he's dancing and they've taken the music out? It's just all him going,
I love
it's just so odd. It's so odd.
They've renamed that version of Peter as Bully Maguire. Because he bullies everybody in that movie. It's so fucking hilarious.
I mean, I love Venom. He's one of my favorite all-time villains. So I did like the idea of the Venom franchise. I'm still kind of sitting on the fence on that, to be honest. But I just think they missed the mark with Venom and Spider-Man 3.
Did they ever?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Spider-Man 1 and 2, absolutely loved it. You can't go wrong with the Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, and then Doc Ock, just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I like what they tried to do with James Franco.
What?
I haven't. No.
You haven't seen, you haven't seen Venom?
The newest Venom with
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
No.
You haven't seen it?
No, I have. I was wondering, have you guys seen it?
I've seen it. I've seen it twice now. It's a bit of a piss take. Yeah. Venom's quite comical once he kind of gets into the mind of Tom Hardy's character, Eddie Brock. He can be quite comical at moments in the film, which was surprising and actually quite enjoyable to watch, because then you see that Venom, I don't want to spoil it, but he has his own kind of emotions and feelings, and he has his own hang-ups. So when you kind of start, he reveals those eventually to kind of Eddie Brock, and I think that's quite nice as well. That he's not necessarily the badass from his planet. I'll not spoil it for you, Zara, if you want to watch it. You should watch it. But I do think
I like from the clips that I saw, I like the direction that they're going in. It's kind of like sort of Deadpool-esque, like it doesn't take itself too seriously, breaking the fourth wall. I like those elements of it. I like the way films are going in that direction. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for There Will Be Carnage? Is that the next?
Oh, is that with
Carnage is the villain? Yeah.
Is the villain?
I think.
Is that Woody Harrelson that's going to play
taking a misstep? Yes, I think that's a wrong choice, to be honest.
Yeah.
Love him, brilliant actor. I just don't think he's the right choice at all.
No, I'd probably pick somebody younger, if I was going to go.
Mm-hmm. But I heard that they're meant to be introducing Venom into the Spider-Verse or whatever it is you want to call it. I think with Tom Holland, there was talk about bringing Venom into the franchise somehow.
Maybe, yeah. But I saw the trailers for Venom, and then I saw some clips. like the scene where he's at the restaurant and he eats the lobster. Spoilers are he eats a lobster at one point.
I eat the lobster.
And I was like, oh, I'm not too sure on the tone of this film. I love Tom Hardy is like an amazing actor. You really can't take that away from him. But sometimes when he's in a film and the director doesn't know how to handle him properly, he just goes a bit too far. And I'm like, ooh, take it back. My advice to directors: handle your Hardy.
Well, that's it. Whenever you see a great actor in a bad movie or even perform badly, do you blame the actor? Or do you blame the director, producer?
Director and producers, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of both, but yeah, you're very much at the mercy of what direction you're being given, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if
in
the director
script and
goes, yeah, that's good, and the actor's like, okay, well, that's fine. It's up to the director to say, no, I don't like this.
Like I've been shocked at
Yeah.
times when I've been on set a couple of times, mostly as an extra, but been on set a few times, and I'm seeing scenes broken down, and they're filming it just literally maybe line by line, paragraph by paragraph, whatever, and they're just kind of taking one angle. They're filming it for about 10 seconds. Stop, retake, film 10 seconds. Stop, retake, just reset. And it's like, it's so broken down, but with the right finesse, I'm sure it just comes across beautifully on screen.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to
Mhm.
make an actor look phenomenal or like shit. And then I look at those actors and I could do that. I could say that exact line just like that. That looks easy. That's what I think. I'm sure I like to think I'm more capable of things than I actually am.
I think we all do that, yeah.
I can do that.
Well,
I
I can do everything.
I have questioned if I've had the discussions before with friends. I've had the discussion before with friends that if I was Spider-Man, you'd have to move country. Spider-Man in Northern Ireland would suck.
Yeah.
What are you going to swing off?
Yeah, of course.
You'd have to move to New York or somewhere like a heavily dense city, loads of buildings.
Let me just swing on the Grand Opera House here.
Yeah, watch out for the Ulster bus.
That would be amazing. Why has that not been made? Probably
We'll
because
make it. We'll get there. We'll just wait till we start getting some patronage from our listeners, and
My
then
Spidey
we'll work on that.
There's a fucking petrol bomb coming, Jesus.
That was incredible. Spidey said.
Oh God.
Wow, that needs done.
You get some slag, and if you were like from Belfast and like Spider-Man, be like, your fucking hands aren't the only thing that's fucking sticky, is it, mate? Jesus.
It would all have to be innuendos, of course.
Of course.
I should write the Belfast.
You write the script, we'll shoot it. Yeah. That'll be our fan fiction. That's our fan fiction right there. We talked about that in the last episode. Fan fiction.
Shankle Spider-Man.
That being said, actually, that actually being said, we did mention that this is actually our 5th recording. So technically it is our 5th episode, but we're going with this as our first episode, I think we believe, because we actually have a name now. It would be odd maybe down the line us saying, welcome to Hold Our Popcorn, when there's no other mention of it at all. So things may be shuffled in and out of order.
We're so postmodern, like going non-chronological.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know.
Well, because we're talking about Spider-Man specifically, I thought like it's probably the best time that this goes out pretty soon, because if it goes out in 2021, people are going to be thinking, God, you're a bit late.
True.
That's true. It'll beat it. What did I? Oh, yeah, that was the idea of it. So it's possible to incorporate Tobey MaGuire and Andrew Garfield into the new films because they've been made so close together. But in terms of, like, I was trying to think of other franchises because I thought that idea was interesting. Could you incorporate past? Obviously, the idea is that they have a multiverse and that makes sense so that they can add in other people. But is there another franchise that we think that would work with? Because I was trying to think of, like, could you have like Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale? Like, it just wouldn't, because the films have been made so far apart.
Actually,
yeah, I think I know what you're going to say here, Ryan. Yeah.
yes, you could probably articulate it much better than I did. I just glanced at it earlier, but I think there was actually talk about bringing the other Batmans together, wasn't there? Is that right?
No way.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring Michael Keaton back because they're going to do the Batman Beyond version of the story, I think, which is like Batman of the Future, which was like a branch of the animated series where instead of Bruce Wayne being Batman, it was Terry McGinnis, and Bruce Wayne was his mentor. So I think they're thinking of bringing Michael Keaton in as that mentor figure.
So it would make sense that he was like older and that would kind of all fit in.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were going to say that like Affleck and Bale were going to join Pattinson. It was going to be some kind of like weird crossover. I don't know.
DC will probably have their own shitty version of what Marvel are doing. You know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Me not liking DC.
Christian Bale just being like the Robert Pattinson. Why are you sparkling?
I still think he was one of the best Batman. Has there been a bad Batman?
Ooh.
George Clooney.
I don't know.
That whole film was a bit of a piss take, though.
It was
Yeah,
a bit of a shit show. Like,
was that the Batman that had the bad suit with nipples?
Yeah, and so did Val Kilmer as well. But George Clooney was the only one with a bat credit card. So.
Yeah, they love to go tongue
I
in
don't
cheek,
know
didn't
how
they?
I feel about Affleck. I know he's sort of.
I liked him. I think people were a bit too hard on him.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a like non-entity.
It's unfair that because studios feel the need, well, they have a legal obligation probably obviously to keep churning out film franchises, or else they're going to lose their contract. So I imagine there's a lot of pressure on the actors and the studio to have to constantly keep thinking, how can we remake Batman and have him have his own style, his own kind of aesthetic, his own, gruff.
Yeah, and Zack Snyder.
I mean,
was
like obviously,
make him a
Christian Bale's
murderer.
Batman, which was different from Ben Affleck's Batman, which is going to be different again from Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like they're never the same. It's the same as the Joker. You have the Joker, that was done there in the Dark Knight, and then you've obviously got the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Like there's always so much pressure to create a different version or something that feels new. Otherwise, audiences just rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think they really missed the mark with Ben Affleck's one. Like, he was just so grim, dark.
He was a badass, though.
Yeah.
I loved seeing him just like, he doesn't hold any punches. He was
the
big,
fight
he was
scene
buff.
was class.
Yeah,
like
they
in
were
Morehouse,
brilliant, which is what I enjoyed watching with the teaser trailer for Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like,
it looks pretty brutal, yeah.
It does. And, that kind of, like, I didn't really watch the old kind of Batman series, but maybe it's in the comics. They're all buff. I remember playing Batman Arkham for the Xbox, and he's big, buff, strong Batman, and that's what I kind of like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Zack Snyder really took inspiration from was the Arkham games, just the way the choreography went for Batman's fights. But with Robert Pattinson's one, it looks more like street brawling, just like bam, bam.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which is a real far cry from, if you think about like the 60s TV show. It's really
Wham.
Yeah. Quite different. Yeah. Cool though.
Eartha Kitt as Catwoman is cool though. I can't remember exactly what she says.
Wow, yeah.
Bring me those diamonds.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Is Catwoman in this Robert Pattinson's Batman? Is she a character?
I don't know.
No,
Anne Hathaway as
Not
Catwoman? Nah, thank you.
No. Halle Berry, did she not do that?
That film.
That was a bad one. Yes, that was a long time ago.
It was a standalone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oof, that was quite the film.
I don't think I've even checked it out.
You should check it out. Like,
I was told not
watch it as one of those movies. It's so bad, it's actually fucking genius, and you'll enjoy it. Kind of like Daredevil in that way. Daredevil with the Colin Farrell Irish bullseye. Oh no.
Oh, was it a film or a TV?
It was a film.
Movie.
Yeah.
There is the Netflix had a television series. Like, they had it out for, was it Netflix? Wasn't it? They had it out for a couple of seasons. I couldn't get past it first.
I never watched it. I'm just not into Daredevil, like, so.
No, I'm not interested at all. Again, it's just one of the follies of DC in my eyes. Bad characters.
Amazing. Sorry, I just can't stop eating popcorn.
I know, once it's there, I haven't poured the whole bag out, because if I pour the whole bag, I'll eat the whole bag.
Yeah.
And that's interesting for no one to listen to.
Sure, yeah, Peter Parker.
Anyway.
Tobey MaGuire.
Yeah, so Peter Parker.
Oh God.
That's why I couldn't say his name right, because I had so much popcorn in my mouth.
Yeah. What was the last thing you said the other episode? Something dick.
Oh.
And you meant to say stick. I hadn't actually listened to that yet to see if it was the cut or whether it was you.
Wait, what was it? I think my audio dropped slightly. That must.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
For I would never say such a word.
It was just so. The wording before it, I think, was nearly perfect. It was something like, it wasn't this, but it was something like that long, and you meant to say stick, and it sounded like dick or something. And you and I just you sort of wait,
What?
I really don't want to remember what that was now, because it was so funny, but I can't remember what was it stick? Yeah. You can let me know. Oh, that's funny. What you drinking, Joe? What's your beverage?
Sparkling water.
Oh yeah, baby, Co-op's finest. Love it.
Girl.
I was getting ready to slag him off for the damage he was doing with his body with all the sugar.
No. Only the finest for me from the Co-op.
I actually got my popcorn from the Co-op.
So did I, yeah.
I got mine from a Spar.
So did you get the wee pink bag then, Zara?
I did, yeah. I got the sweet and salted, it's got this little cinema logo on it.
Nice.
It's really cute.
Yeah, I couldn't find the salted popcorn, so I had to get the sweet and salted, so I've got a mixture at the minute, but normally I would just go for the salted.
The bag's important. I could be looking at 3 or 4 different varieties of sweet popcorn, and you're like, which one looks more cinema-y? This one has a reel across it. That's probably like cinema popcorn. You're so easily persuaded.
Yeah, that's what I go for too. If it's all different popcorns, and if there's like Butterkissed and there's like toffee ones, and I'm like, no, I need cinema grade. Like, what do you get?
Yeah, that one has a camera on it. That must be cinema popcorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I have the cinema popcorn that's been sitting out for a day? Thank you. That's my flavor.
Yeah.
Can I have it a little bit squishy? Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Have you ever been that guy that asks, could you just go down to the other counter and get me that popcorn, please?
Oh, I haven't.
The big like trays built into the counters. There's been once or twice I've been like, sorry, could you go to the other one? And they're like, oh, of course, no problem. But I know they're probably thinking, dickhead.
And why
if
was
I'm
that?
paying
Did you
for
think
it?
that the one?
I've had it before.
What was the reason?
Oh, because it's like near the bottom of the barrel, so you know it's going to taste like shit and be all soft. And I thought, I don't want that. If I'm going to pay my $3.50 for my medium-sized sweet popcorn, I want it to be good.
You're probably getting loads of kernels by that point as well, rather than the actual popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good attitude. I'm gonna if somebody's scraping and it's like, near the bottom, I'm gonna be like, actually, can you go over there?
I respect.
I just remembered the big bag of popcorn we bought, Joe, for your scene. Remember?
Oh my goodness.
Popcorn! It's came full circle.
Oh my god, it's come full circle, guys! If we'd have known back then.
You saw me getting done in the back storage room over a bag of popcorn.
And I was behind Joe popping the popcorn. And at that moment of ecstasy, he's like, ooh. I had to go and buy that. £25, that big bag of popcorn.
Seriously?
Really?
Shit, popcorn is so expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should just buy a big bag of that and just keep it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
we should just spend
this one because people have had sex on it.
Did we eat that? I don't even remember what happened to it.
I don't know. There was some left in the bottom of the bag, maybe. I was no, because I was constantly scraping it up off the ground and throwing it back into the bag because obviously Joe needed to do it again and again and again because he just loved that scene.
Because I love like multiple orgasms,
Exactly. Who doesn't? Oh God.
Oh.
People come here to listen about movies and we're talking about popcorns and sex and orgasms and
I'm actually crying.
Fantastic stuff.
I'm crying tears. Oh my goodness.
What people need. This is what people need. They need levity, they need comedy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm crying. Ooh.
Can't believe that. Full circle.
I know.
That just makes the name all the better. It shouldn't have been called Hold My Popcorn. It should have been some sort of innuendo. We need to change the name.
We do need to change it. Yeah.
Popcorn splooge or something.
Popcorn splooge.
Pop my kernel.
Oh,
my kernel. That's
it.
strong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a keeper.
We can have that one for whenever we start to like review porn movies and stuff, because that'll happen eventually.
Exactly, later in the year.
Yeah.
That's a kernel popper.
Yeah.
That's a real kernel popper. That can be like how we rate a film.
Did it pop your kernel? Or did it just sizzle it a little bit?
Oh dear. Oh, I love where we've ended up.
I do love the whole free flow of it. Actually, how this is, because I think that's what people need. It's just kind of levity and just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely think, I think it's going well. So I'm sure people will correct us.
Really I think we
talk about really movies.
Talk about films more.
Yeah, I just took the opportunity there, like just to shovel a load of popcorn into my face.
I just finished mine. I just threw it on my face.
I was like,
I was about to say I wasn't filling my face with popcorn. And next, we're talking about anniversaries of films and have they stood the test of time, and also then carrying on with our streaming chat about has there been a resurgence in any nostalgic films on streaming services. I looked at like 20 years ago, so I looked at 2001 because I thought I'll look up like anniversaries in 2021. So the top 5 grossing, does anyone want to guess? 2001, can anyone remember any?
Lord of the Rings came out in 2001, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
That was the number one. Yeah, that was
very good.
numero uno.
Of course, Joe would know that.
Yeah.
Of course, Joe.
Did one of the Harry Potters come out in 2001?
I think the first one did come out in 2001.
Yes.
Number 2. Wow.
Give me a minute.
Oh, yeah. I'm typing.
Just shut down my PDF.
And then we had two animated. So we had Monsters Inc. and Shrek.
Oh, Monsters Inc. makes me cry.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? What's the little girl's name? I always used to like.
Who?
Oh my goodness!
Did you forget the little girl's name?
Absolutely. I know,
the only
right?
thing she says.
I used to like want to cry at her, but I was a child. But I was looking at a child, thinking it was so cute. I always find that really strange. Anyway, and then Ocean's 11 was number 5.
I would prefer.
Sorry. Sorry. I was going to say just about the.
You pulling kernels out? What are you eating?
Or something?
I thought your popcorn was out of arm's reach. And all of a sudden, you've got more popcorn in your mouth.
What was the so the I don't know, I was just going to say, but the Ocean's 8 is like our most recent, and that was kind of like part of that it was, but it was also part of that like thing where people were like, well, let's remake these films but with women because that's cool, and it just didn't work. Like the Ghostbusters thing,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of actually fell into the category of liking the Ghostbusters, not more so than the originals, but I like Melissa McCarthy for all her stupidity. I enjoy her. And I think she's a good actress.
I think she can be good. Yeah, I think she's good if she has like good direction. What I really, I haven't seen the whole movie. I've seen clips of it. What I really don't like about sort of the tone of that movie is the improv comedy. I'm of the mind it's great to improv comedy, but then maybe like take a second, like tighten up the joke and then put it in the movie. Whereas, what I saw was Chris Hemsworth and Melissa McCarthy just kind of riffing off each other like constantly. And I was like, whoa, chill. This feels so unscripted. Stop.
Yeah. But that's all of their backgrounds. They're all on like SNL. And so, it's sort of their thing, I guess. Stand-up comedy.
Well, they kind of reversed the trope there as they did with Chris Hemsworth's character. Because usually you've got the kind of women that's the eye candy. And here you kind of got the man that's the eye candy. And he was also just an idiot. I thought Chris Hemsworth was I think he's an enjoyable actor to watch. He has carved himself a nice kind of reputation for comedy, but I thought it was a bit odd seeing him play a complete idiot. And he kind of seems now he's typecasted as that. A lot of his movies, like he did Men in Black, and he's, I don't know, I just can't see him doing a lot of work like that.
His character was that he was an idiot. There was no other joke. It was just he's stupid, and you're like, oh, that's some clever writing you got going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just needed some socio-economic kind of political statements in there.
I wouldn't have minded, fucking Lincoln's ghost to come up and be like, slavery. Let's halt the movie and let's talk about some issues, okay? I was killed because I stood up for, that kind of shit. People of today, we've got a climate crisis.
Do you think the influence of movies being remade or like they're having kind of a revitalization or a resurgence is because they were once a financial success? So studios think they can just strike gold twice?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cynical move by the studio, and I think no, this doesn't go for everything. See, whenever you hear people shouting, "Ooh, there's a woman in my movie," you're like, "Yo, chill, okay." Like let's see the movie. But with the likes of Ghostbusters, I do think it was a cynical sort of cash grab of just banking on the name of the franchise and just going, here is some women because we're progressive as a studio. We're not trying to take all your money.
It seems to be the way of a lot of studios at the moment and Hollywood in general. They kind of just either gender swap or race swap the characters now, just kind of virtue signal rather than, which I think does more damage than good. If it's, well, we'll throw a black person in here or a woman or a man or Chinese or whatever, just because, then I think, well, that's not really your main focus. For me in a film should always be story. I don't care whether you're white, black, man, woman, whatever. Story is paramount. If you got a crap story, I don't care who's in it. It's going to be a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that tokenism versus actual representation. And, I just felt as, especially with the likes of the Ghostbusters, it was like tokenism. It's don't write, what is it? I was watching like a video and he said something like, don't write diversity for the sake of diversity. Write diverse characters.
Yeah.
You know that. And I totally sort of agreed with that. And I was like, yeah, with Ghostbusters, they just kind of put the camera on and went, hey, you're all comedians. Why don't you just go? Boom.
Be funny.
Yeah, but they have
funny.
another Ghostbusters coming out where it's all kids.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You could
Even
argue
worse.
that's a cash grab, but honestly, I've looked at that and thought, actually, I might be a little bit interested in that. Because one of the Ghostbusters, it's one of their granddaughters is meant to be in it. And, when she stumbles across, obviously, her grandfather's tools and outfits and everything, and the jumpsuits. And
who are the kids? Like, are any of them from Stranger Things?
Yes.
They seem to be
I
in,
think
like, everything.
At least one of them.
Your tall, skinny boy. I don't know what he's called. The tall one with black hair. Something Wolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Finn Wolf or something?
Finn,
or
yes,
Wolf.
something like that.
Yeah.
That guy.
That
and then
skinny boy.
Paul Rudd, is he like their father
Paul
or
Rudd's in it.
or
I'm not sure actually what his role is in it. I do like Paul Rudd. Yeah. But why is it I can look at that and think, actually looks interesting, but I think it's because of the way the trailer's cut. It seems like it's maybe doing more of a fan service and there's just more careful consideration with the characters or the style, whereas Ghostbusters, even though I enjoyed it, was just literally, we're going to throw these people on screen, we're just going to crack a bunch of random jokes, and it's really just a cash grab. It felt like a cash grab, and I'm sure maybe even the new one probably is a cash grab because everything's about money, but I'm more excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood.
As you say, around the trailer, it seems more like a love letter to the original rather than the woman one was like, oh, we'll just, we'll do this for gender instead of like it being a new story or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood does not know how to write women, but they seem to know how to write kids, oddly enough, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I hear, I mean, women and yes, probably blacks as well, there's a lot of underrepresentation. I'm not saying there isn't, but I do feel as though, and I'm talking slow because I think I've lost my point mid-thought.
Need to formulate that
happens. I
point
fucking
again.
hate when that happens. Jesus.
No, I was going to say, was it just that idea of it's done for the sake of it? And
I know what it was. You're saying, obviously, I did it. You did. Thank you. I was just going to say that in some ways, like, I hate when they say there's, they're saying a lot in recent movies like Captain Marvel, for example. There's no such thing as any kind of strong female lead in movies anymore. They're saying we are breaking this ceiling with this movie with Brie Larson, and I'm thinking bullshit. You had, Princess Leia in Star Wars, you had Ridley in Alien franchise, you got Tomb Raider, you got so many kind of strong women characters, and that's because the movie wasn't written and centered around the fact that they were women. They were just, it was just a great movie that had a woman lead, and that's what makes it good. So I think that's kind of where Hollywood's going wrong these days, where they're just kind of trying to appease everybody rather than think about, let's just make a good movie and let that speak for itself. Who knows? Maybe I'm the problem.
That's all you, Ryan.
I know. I've had these discussions in work, and they're like, and I'm like, like I'm not homophobic. I'm not sexist, and they're like, oh, that's exactly what a sexist person would say, and I'm like, no.
No, but seriously, some of my best friends are gay.
Yeah. Some of my best friends are gay. Yep. Just wait for the comments.
Yeah,
I'm voice sexist. We have a woman on our podcast that says that's progressiveness right there.
I'm here, guys.
Yeah.
She's not a token.
She's not at the bottom of our screen.
But no, I think that is true. I think it's about looking for those roles, especially because, like, to be fair, watching Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, my brain just went. Watching Captain Marvel and like sitting in the cinema and just, I don't know, I felt really like, I was like, this is really innovative. This is new. And then I thought back and I was like, no, it's not. It's like, it's sold as being so different. And so, breaking the glass ceiling or whatever. But
yeah, I was only annoyed for two primary reasons. One, because they made it feel like you had to go see it to understand Endgame. So they shoehorned it in between the last two Avengers movies, which annoyed me because when you got and see it, I thought it's got nothing really to do with it. But they're claiming, oh, it's a huge financial success, critical acclaim, this incredible movie. And it's like, well, no, you made everyone think that they had to see it to understand Endgame after 21 movies. So they kind of lied to us. Plus, I just don't like Brie Larson as a person, and that instantly just put me off. If you had a Scarlett Johansson movie in there or Scarlet Witch movie in there, I'd be a lot happier with that. Brie Larson as a person, I thought, I don't like you, so instantly I thought, nah.
Yeah, I mean, the marketing around it was kind of strange. I thought they didn't focus on our character or anything like that. It was always, she's the strongest Avenger. She's going to be the most powerful character in the whole thing. You're like, yeah, but what's she going to do?
Mm.
I mean, that's not really, the talk around Scarlet, what you would call her, Black Widow's character or anything like that. It's like she's a cool spy and she's deceitful, but she's also got a heart of gold. It's that kind of marketing, whereas Brie Larson, or sorry, Captain Marvel's was just, yeah, she's strong.
I think as well, you had Iron, you obviously had like Pepper, you had Robert Downey Jr.'s, she's not his wife in the first kind of few movies, obviously, anyway. And then you had Elizabeth Olsen, she plays Scarlet Witch, and then you had obviously Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, so you had strong women in there, and I thought these are fantastic franchises, and we've spent 10 years with these characters, and then they just kind of shoehorn Brie Larson in as, oh, I'm the savior, I'm the strongest. I'm taking the Marvel franchise and I'm running with it.
Yeah, because she hadn't been introduced before and it was completely new. Everyone was like, wait, what?
Yeah. And then she's just heading up the whole franchise from here forward. And I thought, no, give it to one of the other people.
Goodbye. Did anybody watch The Boys?
No, I keep meaning to watch The Boys. I keep meaning to watch it.
Do watch it. It's class. I won't spoil it, but there is a moment, where they kind of pastiche what Marvel was doing at that time. Just promoting the fact that she's a woman, and you're like, yeah, but what's the point of her character? And they have like sort of a moment where they keep in the second series promoting their superheroes, and they keep going, girls get it done, and they're just kind of using that stupid kind of slogan shite, to push the fact that we're progressive. Hey, it's only taken us how long to have a female-led superhero movie? And they're sitting going, yeah, well, not only will it be female-led, she'll be the most powerful superhero. It's just, it's pandering, it's cynical, it's pretty disgusting. It's Disney.
We love women. That goes without saying. We love women. Women are awesome.
Women are great. They're my fave.
That's why Zara is outnumbered 2-1.
Yeah, that's why I'm one of the boys.
Too much of a good thing.
You're one of the lads,
I don't think I'm really.
Or are we one of the girls? Yeah.
Hey.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Hey. I am so for. Let's virtue signal for a second here, okay? I'm so for women-led things. Because the need representation, like good representation, rather than that stupid tokenism thing that they've been getting lately. But I don't think movies like Captain Marvel or studios like Disney are the ones to do it, because they are just after your money. That's all. They're not making art. Who was what did you call one of the heads of Disney? Jeffrey Katzenberg, was he the head of Disney in the 80s? He had a quote something like, we're not trying to make art, but eventually, basically, if we pump out enough stuff, we will make something akin to art. And Disney have kind of just continued that on into now, and now they're just cynically recycling all of their content for the nostalgia. So
yeah, well, what do we think about like the Ariel? Was it? I can't remember her name. Hallie. Somebody.
Yes, she's
was like from Hallie and Chloe, the band. Cast as Ariel. Ariel. I think it's really cool, obviously, but I don't know, it kind of made me think whenever it was announced, then I thought, is that only off the back of those conversations that people are having, and is it is it a step forward, is it progress, or is it slightly tokenism, and I don't know. I mean, Disney, we'll never know, I guess, why it was the choice was made, but
at a certain point tokenism doesn't become tokenism.
Yeah,
I would imagine, like to us in our generation where we're seeing it as tokenism, you're thinking this is bullshit. In 20-30 years time, your children will be watching it and think, well, that's normal. We're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what they've grown up with. That's what they understand.
I agree.
We're the problem. Our generation's the problem.
Yeah. It most likely is tokenism. And because Disney going, what's good for the metrics? But the fact that a black woman is going to be the head of one of the movies, then okay, good. That's really that's good.
Yeah, because hopefully it then shifts perspectives, and then it kind of introduces it to maybe more of the franchises that we have been shown.
In the case of Star Wars, actually recently, I think it was the last Star Wars movie, or maybe it was The Force Awakens, so you had John Boyega coming out in frustration against Disney, because in the poster, like he's one of the central characters, the main protagonists, and he's a large kind of takes up a large area in the posters. Then because the movie went to China, and obviously they've obviously a bit of an issue there with the black people of it. You know, they didn't want to kind of see him as having his larger role within the movie, so they diminished his size in the poster to be very, very small.
Yeah.
So Disney were all very pro-black, but it's like, well, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, and he was recently part of an ad campaign, I think, for a perfume or a men's fragrance, whatever. And he had filmed it, and it was all based on his life growing up. And he had like sort of directed it, written it, and starred in this advert. But whenever they did port it over to China, they recast it without telling him, and took his story and just, you know, made it like a Chinese man then instead. And he was absolutely raging about that. And you're like, geez, like, I mean, that is crazy kind of what companies you're doing to censor things.
Yeah.
And Disney and Marvel are absolutely pandering to like the Chinese market with their
Totally, yeah.
oddly going to China in places, you know,
Well, at the
especially
end of
like
the day, it's all about
Transformers.
money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing it's ever
Yeah.
about.
That's the money. Yeah, ask why is anything ever done, and you say money. Usually makes sense.
Yeah, that's usually
Money
the
makes the
answer.
world go
Yeah.
round, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Capitalism. I need to like shoehorn that
wild
word
about
in
that.
every episode.
Capitalism.
Capitalism.
9/11.
Capitalism, 9/11, conspiracies.
And then a little popcorn crunch after it.
So, what y'all think about the capitalism this week?
Perfect.
That's me breaking the back of capitalism.
It really looks like I'm in a room that is on fire. What is
No,
that?
Zara.
I'm
You're
assuming
on
you
fire.
have a tungsten
on
light. Do you have a tungsten light bulb? Is that what it
It
is?
just looks like it. Like, no, it's really not. It doesn't. It's like really yellow. And anyway,
Well, you have yellow
it just
walls.
looks
Is
like,
that the problem? If you have yellow walls?
yeah, maybe. Well, they're kind of cream, but you see, they look really, because everything's made like orangified. Sorry, I just, because I'm like seeing myself, it's just so odd. Anyway,
Well,
there's
my
no
favorite
fire.
color is orange, so it's pleasant to look at. A nice wee orange.
Orange
palette.
is a great
Yeah.
color. My phone case is like bright orange, and it brings me a lot of joy. I think there's something psychologically about orange where it's like bright and
Yeah.
colorful.
My favorite color.
High
Like I
energy.
used to, yes. Because I actually used to be allergic to oranges when I was a kid, which is
Oh,
weird.
wow.
So I loved, this is random anyway, loved eggs and was allergic to oranges, but now I can't stand eggs, can't stomach them, think they taste like shit and smell. But I love orange, favorite color, and I could eat 2-3 oranges a day, easy. Favorite flavor.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that favorite flavor. I
Superman.
think that's cool.
What was a weakness became a strength.
Oh, that reminds me of
Like
I just need my own Spider-Man and Orange Man in Belfast. There you go.
God, imagine Orange Man in Belfast.
Yeah, I'll just have the big sash and everything, and we'll just palette the whole movie in
Spider-Man
orange.
leads a 12th.
Yes.
People
This
be like,
writes
is this his
itself.
political belief? We'll be like, no, he just loves orange. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. He doesn't know anything about the history. He just wanted to march with the Orange Man. Okay,
He just
Jesus.
loves the color.
Calm down. Don't be sectarian.
And I'm Catholic, so it's very out there, isn't it? I'm sure they would
Wow,
love
yeah,
that.
that's breaking
Yeah, yeah.
barriers, Ryan.
I will
Wow.
lead
Yeah.
this march. I'm sure that will go down well.
Yeah. Well, with a name like O'Neill and O'Hagan.
Exactly.
then,
Yeah. Well, the thing
We'd go
is,
down
my
well.
mom's Catholic and my dad was Protestant. But they both had the same name as O'Neill. Like that's their maiden names.
Oh.
Really?
Like my
Oh.
mom didn't have to
Oh,
change her
that's
name.
really cool.
So when someone's like, "Oh, it's a very Catholic name," it's like, "Is it?" 'Cause my dad's Protestant and his name's also O'Neill. So fuck you. Now I
I
get a
had
shit kicked out
mixed
of me.
parents as well. That's really cool. I feel like my name's a bit of an enigma, Zara Jackson. Nobody knows what I am. It's great.
Do you ever feel? No, do you know what? It's just gonna go down the wrong road. I was gonna say, do you ever feel like you could sense whether someone's Catholic or Protestant?
Oh, it
But
depends. If they say stuff that's very like obvious, then
yeah,
I think
Depends
our
on their
generation
intelligence.
especially is a little less
Oh.
aware of those things. Like my
Mhm.
mum would have been really like, I would have come home and said certain things, and she would have been like, "Oh," and she would have like known straight away. Whereas I didn't know those little things, which so
I
I'm
feel like you
hoping
get
that
a
kind of is
vibe.
filtering.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I suppose. Yeah.
So in
What's
this
the vibe?
podcast,
Yeah.
we're sexist, racist, and sectarian.
Funded by the Arts Council.
Yes. God. Oh God.
Nice joke. Good.
Not yet. Let's just put it that way. They don't fund us yet. They will fund us
Your
from the
sectarian
next
podcast is brought to you by the Arts Council of Northern Ireland.
Funded by
What a
nobody
soundbite.
at this very current moment in time. We are unfunded.
Oh dear. Absolute gold, guys.
Where were we? I hope people get.
Where were we,
I
Dean?
hope people just get enjoyment out of
No
listening
idea.
to us talk shit, because that's what we're giving them.
My cheeks.
Oh yeah, we were talking.
Yes,
Yeah,
where were we?
I think we were sort of supposed to get onto the topic of anniversary of movies.
Oh yeah. Wait, Joe. So, what were your What? I can't speak. Joe, you take it.
Okay, so
something.
I looked at 2 anniversaries. Okay, so I just went for like the arbitrary 20th anniversary thing. And there's pretty like boring movies, to be honest. I mean, you've got stuff like Castaway. It's 20 years old. It's pretty good. Billy Elliot. It's a formative movie for me. I loved Billy Elliot. Yeah. But one of my favorite movies ever turns 20 this year, and it's American Psycho.
Oh,
Love American Psycho.
very cool.
I do. No, I watched American Psycho for the first time when I was doing my undergrad, and I thought it was just going to be like a stupid horror movie. But then watching it, I find it absolutely fucking hilarious. I thought it was so funny. The way women get chopped up, it's so fucking funny. Me talking about like
They probably deserved
representation.
it. Yeah.
What were they wearing?
I know, right? What were they wearing? They had it coming to themselves.
What were they doing beforehand? They were walking on the street by themselves.
Had they consumed alcohol?
Yeah, promiscuity. But anyway, I thought it was so cleverly done. How you didn't know whether certain things were real or fake. Christian Bale's performance, like absolute perfection, I think. And the director of that, if we're talking about women, was a woman. I can't remember her name at the minute.
That's a bad one, Joe. Just to
I know.
throw that out there, not even know her name.
I know.
It was a woman. That's really shocked me that it was a woman directed that film.
Yeah, it was Mary Harron, and she did an amazing job. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't really heard much else, that she's directed. But she, I think, if we're talking about like women directors and stuff, I think that she avoided the typical male gaze of cinema and sort of made it more neutral, or give it the female gaze, because they were glorifying Patrick's body because he glorifies it himself. And after I watched the movie, I read the book. Oh, girl, that book. It's one of the most disgusting things I've ever read, but it's one of the best things I've ever read. I think it's so well written. I had to put it down for about a week after one particular violent scene nearly actually made me throw up, because I was listening to the audiobook at that time. I was on the bus, and it was just this description of, I'm not going to go too much into it, but it was a hand going down a throat and pulling out stuff from the back of the throat, people dying, teeth breaking. Yeah. But I would recommend it if you want a really well written book. Again, gross, but absolutely hilarious. That's what I looked into for my anniversary. I also decided to do another anniversary because I'm vain and narcissistic.
Sorry, I'll cut you out anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm only joking.
You can cut this bit. It was the domestic box office for films from 1993, which was the year I was born. Anybody want to guess what number 1 was?
Oh, 1993.
Some big films.
1993. Oh God.
I'll give you as a hint. I'll sing the theme tune
Let's
if
just
you
bring
want.
it up and Google. Yes, hum the theme tune. Okay. All right, I'll bring it. I'll put it down there. Just Spark.
Yes, there we go.
Oh,
There's a good John Williams soundtrack.
You have to know Jurassic Park in the opening tune. Yeah. Oh, I love Jurassic Park so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, so this is obviously like the American box office that I'm looking at. Number 2 was The Fugitive.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Harrison Ford.
It was a good movie. Yeah. Third was The Firm with Tom Cruise. Fourth, we've got Sleepless in Seattle
Oh, brilliant
And
movie.
in fifth, we've got Mrs. Doubtfire.
Classic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you know what I love about those old movies? It's the scores. Like that's what just
Yeah,
kind of
like
makes my heart
really
swell. Like, I love
orchestral
those
scores,
old.
yeah.
Yes, they don't make those in movies anymore. You know,
No.
like we have orchestras in films. We don't have those Mrs. Doubtfire, Home Alone, Jurassic Park, Feel Good, Sleepless in Seattle type scores anymore. Like I don't think so. Same as action movies. We've moved away from scores like Con Air and Face Off, and I think music was better
like
back
epic
then.
scores.
Yeah, I was saying about Spider-Man PS4 earlier on. The soundtrack to that game is class. Like it has a real nice orchestral score that brings back the leitmotif, so you can go, I associate this theme with that character. And it's one of the things that I really appreciated about that because it really evoked the Sam Raimi movies then for me.
Yeah.
So I don't have any anniversaries. I forgot to do that research. So I researched into the reopening of cinemas. That's what I did.
It's okay. Yay. You told us to buy popcorn, so it's fine.
Yes, I did. I contributed.
We did our homework, so it's good.
We did. Yeah, we talked for well over an hour.
So, Ryan, what did you find out about cinemas reopening this week?
Well, Zara was saying about the opening of cinemas, and they're opening more than 150 cinemas in England. I'm not sure that's too soon. I understand that they need to make their money back. I did see that Hollywood studios are stopping their kind of theatrical releases with their movies, and they're still continuing to experiment with like streaming services releases, same way they did with like Mulan, which annoyed me because I thought we were done with this whole thing. AMC issued threats to boycott any Universal movies films in the future if they were to start releasing on streaming services, and I thought they backed down. So I'm surprised that they're going to maybe continue experimenting, as they call it. Like there's a chain, a Cineworld Group, which is actually a UK cinema, and they plan to reopen all their venues by 2021, May next year. And they've had to kind of just go straight into debt, basically, over hundreds of millions of debt and cost cutting, firing of staff. It's I'm scared because I love the theater more than anything, and I think losing that institute of any country is just disgusting.
Yeah, and it's handing more money to the streaming services that already have much capital.
So Warner Brothers, I think it's Warner Brothers. They say they're going to they're saying that it's just a 1 year plan, but I call bullshit. As we've discussed earlier, it's all about money. So, if it's a formula they realize that it works and they can make more profit off it, I don't think they're going to care about cinema chains. I think they're just going to want to release it straight to the homes of audiences and get all that money themselves.
Nothing now.
Exactly.
I mean, they're just going to put out in the streaming services, and it's kind of like what the game industry is doing at the minute, because they're moving way more towards like online
digital
purchases rather than
things,
doing printing the discs. And so that only increases their profit margin. And technically you don't own those digital copies. They can like discontinue those at any time. There was Oculus was doing something recently, surprise, surprise, a Facebook owned company is shady. But so they discontinued a game. It was actually like Marvel's Avengers, or it wasn't that, but it was like this Avengers experience. And I think it's from like February or March next year, you won't be able to play it even offline, because they've just like boom deleted the code, and they're telling people to delete it off their Oculus now because they don't want to take up dead space. And you're like, why don't you just make it playable offline? Because people bought it. Are you going to give them their money back? I don't think they are. So
see, I was going to say that obviously if the cinemas reopen, like I'd love to go back to the cinema. There's the concern of having to wear a mask the entire time you're watching a hour and a half, 2 hour, 3 hour movie. I don't like that.
I will eat you popcorn.
What I do like though is that obviously you have to be socially distanced. When I go to the cinema, I like to have nobody sitting right in front of me, nobody sitting right behind me, and I don't want anybody sitting on either side of me. Obviously, if you're my friends and we're together, that's okay. But I like to have my own bubble.
Ryan goes to the cinema and sits by himself, and his friends are all
just eating my popcorn like a little beaver. But I love having my wee bubble in the cinema. So if we have to go to the cinema and you have to socially distance, I think that's brilliant. I think it's a plus.
Yeah.
Also in the Northern Ireland cinemas that I went to a few cinemas in between the two different lockdowns for cinemas. So in August, whenever everything was kind of open for a while, and QFT especially, they encourage you to wear a mask, you know, coming in and getting your ticket and stuff. But if you wanted to then take it off, it wasn't mandatory to have it in the actual theater. So that was kind of up to the people, I guess, to decide whether they wanted to or not. But yeah, it wasn't. It was sort of like, yeah, wear it as you come in the door, as you get your ticket, if you're in the lobby. But once you go into the screening, it's sort of up to you. So I find that was quite nice, because you can kind of choose whether it was something.
It's like what they're doing with TV shows or even sports like tennis and football, where they have like the live screens there, and people, you know, so people are kind of watching it from home. We should just have cameras in the cinema pointing at the screen, or watch it at home. I think that's good. No. We'll put a 360 camera there, and they'll put on the Golly, the virtual reality headset, and I'll feel like I'm in the cinema.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like you're in the cinema.
Boom. They get the full experience. Get somebody to like walk across the screen and stuff and obscure
yes.
The most inopportune time.
And you have to have wee bowl popcorn just to smell popcorn. Yes. Yeah. People whispering, chewing loudly. Yeah. So we have.
Speaking of,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, speaking of like your personal bubble, I've got a story. I was at the cinema once on my own because, loner. But
you have us.
So I was. That
was very unconvincing.
yeah, I got you, sure.
Okay.
I'll go to the cinema with you. But I was in the cinema on my own, and like it was a pretty empty cinema, and I was pretty happy about that. It's actually quite nice going to the cinema on your own. And so I'd picked this nice seat, and out of all of the seats that they could pick, there was a couple, and they sat right next to me.
No.
And out of like the whole cinema, and I was like, I'm just not having this. And I was like, excuse me, but there's an entire cinema there. You could sit elsewhere. And they were like, but we want to sit here. And I was like, yeah, but I'm sitting here. And I made it just really awkward for them until they moved.
Oh, that's really weird. That's like when you're on a bus and there's loads of seats and someone sits next to you, you're like, why? It's just weird.
I just put my coat down in the cinema. Do not sit there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's like, 9/11 jokes are so inappropriate. It's like, but people think it. People think that stuff.
We're just saying in their brain.
Yeah, yes, in their brains is where they do all their thinking. Yeah.
In your brain.
In your brain.
That's not where men all do all their thinking.
No, I was about to say that.
Am I right, ladies?
Am I right, girl?
Am I right? Can I get a hell yeah?
I'm pretty sure you could think with your vagina too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There you go. Zara's just confirmed it.
Illuminati confirmed. Women think with their vaginas.
The triangle.
2 triangles.
Wow. So scissoring as well, guys. Come on. Have we not covered everything? We've covered everything.
Shall we wrap this up? I think before.
Let's do it. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you enjoyed our take on these topics, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Thanks very much, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Great. It took us 10 minutes to come up with an ending there. Not for you to come up with an ending, but for us to get to the point of saying the ending.
Yeah, to get to the actual, And it was so short, too. It was just like, boop, 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 and it was over.